It was midnight. The halls of St. Augustine's Academy stood silent, heavy with dust and age. The old school had been closed for 30 years after the fire. Most had forgotten it, but kids in town still whispered. On a full moon, if you stepped inside, you'd hear the bell that no longer existed. Emily thought she'd escaped horrors after what happened on Christmas Eve. But when her new classmates dared her, Daniel, Marcus, and Lily, to enter the school at midnight, she felt that same chill in her chest. 1 hour, Marcus said, trying to sound brave. If we don't hear the bell, we win. The heavy front doors groaned as they pushed inside. Dust rained down from the cracked ceiling. Lockers lined the hallway, rusted and bent like crooked teeth. The faint smell of ash clung to everything. Daniel clutched Emily's arm. Why does it feel warm in here? They moved deeper. The hallway stretched too long, far longer than the school should have been. The faint sound of dripping water echoed, though the pipes had been ripped out decades ago. At 12:03, they reached the main office. The clock above the door ticked steadily. Emily froze. There was no power in the building. Then it began. Dong, the midnight bell. The sound was too loud, shaking dust from the ceiling. Lockers rattled, doors slammed open. From within the rows of lockers came pale, burned hands. Fingers charred to bone scratched at the metal as figures pulled themselves into the hallway. The students, the ones who had burned all those years ago. Their faces were waxy, melted, mouths wide in permanent screams. And yet, when they opened their mouths, no screams came. Only song, the old school anthem. Off-key, distorted, sung by hundreds of dead voices. Daniel whispered, "They never left." The bell tolled again. Dong. Every head snapped toward them. The figures' necks cracked like dry branches as they turned. Then the principal appeared, tall, cloaked in a charred robe that dragged across the floor. His face was melted beyond recognition, his mouth sewn shut with black wire. Yet the voice slipped out like smoke, impossible but undeniable. "You are late. For class." The floor shook. Desks scraped across the hall on their own, dragging into rows. Chalk scrawled violently across the blackboard. Words appeared in jagged strokes. Detention, forever. The ghostly students shuffled into the seats, their hollow sockets fixed on the intruders. The bell tolled again. Lily screamed as a pale hand grabbed her ankle. She was pulled into one of the desks. Her body stiffened instantly. Her skin cracked like old parchment. Her mouth opened wide in silence. Within seconds, she was no longer Lily. She was one of them, seated, lifeless, forever part of the cursed class. Marcus cursed under his breath and bolted for the exit. But chains shot across the doors, rattling violently, locking him in. Shadows swarmed his legs, dragging him screaming toward the rows of desks. His voice broke, swallowed by the song. He vanished into the chorus. Now only Emily and Daniel remained. The principal stepped closer. His sewn mouth split open with a wet tear. Black smoke poured out, stinking of rot and ash. His voice slithered through the halls. "Sit down or join them in the walls." Emily's lantern flickered. The flame shrank, almost gone. Desperate, she shook it. The wick sparked, then flared to life, blazing brighter than before. The shadows recoiled, shrieking in unison. Ghostly faces twisted away from the light. "Run!" Emily screamed, dragging Daniel with her. The lantern burst in a storm of firelight. Chains melted. The doors flew open. They stumbled into the snow outside, gasping for air. Silence. The school stood still behind them. Then, dong. Every cracked window of St. Augustine's glowed with faint golden candlelight. The chorus rose again, 100 voices strong, echoing into the night air. Emily clutched Daniel's hand. Her voice shook. "It's not over." They're still inside. The song carried through the night, reaching the town beyond, a warning or a promise. But as Daniel coughed in the cold, Emily's heart sank. His breath wasn't fog, but smoke. Thin wisps leaked from his lips, curling into the air. He didn't notice. He only stared at the school, eyes unfocused, humming the faintest trace of the anthem. Emily's grip tightened. "No, not you. Not again." Behind them, the bell struck once more, and for the first time, the sound did not come from the school. It echoed from Daniel's chest.